Hand over to the Swift Doublet Classic. Near side rear access locker to the underbed area. Mains electric outlet point. Near side front access locker to the under seating area. On the front bulkhead, 12 volt blade fuses to the road traffic lights. Alarm module unit. Near side front corner, the gas barbecue outlet point. A-frame, Alco coupling stabiliser head, both handles forward, ready to receive the tow ball. When the caravan's loaded onto the tow ball, the smaller black handle will lock off and then manually push down the stabiliser handle. In doing so, you'll note the red indicator would have risen, indicating that the tow ball was seated fully within the coupling. To move the caravan from the tow vehicle, lift the stabiliser handle fully forward, lift and hold forward the smaller black handle, while winding down the jockey wheel to raise the caravan off the tow ball. Generally, when the tow ball is clear, the smaller black handle will stay in the upright forward position. Breakaway cable, jockey wheel handbrake, and this caravan is fitted with a 13-pin trailer plug. Front gas locker box with 2 gas cylinders, bulkhead mounted gas regulator suitable for either butane or propane, and in this locker box you will find the corner steady winder handle. Offside front corner, the Truma combi boiler gas flue for the heating and hot water. Water inlet point, this water hose you'll find coiled up in the kitchen sink upon collection of the caravan, and I'll talk through the water management when we get inside. Battery box, mains electric hookup. Caravan is fitted with a motor mover forward of the axle, auto engage, so it other than manual engage, so it's all done through the hand remote. Set this motor mover up first of all to ensure that the handbrake is applied. All 4 corner steadies are wound up clear of the ground, and then with the isolation switch, turn on with the key. So the switch is found just below the mains hookup point. With the key, push it in fully, turn it on clockwise, and then with the handset, turn it on by the lower button. And then when the green light stops flashing, it goes stationary. You can then press the 2 buttons to engage the movers onto the tyres. So by simply pressing and holding down the 2 top buttons, the motors will automatically engage onto the tyres. When they get to the right tension against the tyres, they'll cut out, and then from this point one would disengage the handbrake and then use the directional control arrows accordingly to manoeuvre the caravan. To release the motors from the tyres after manoeuvring the caravan, reapply the handbrake first. So with the handbrake applied, then disengage the movers by pressing and holding the 2 lower buttons down the handset down, and then the motors will disengage. Once they get to the right distance away from the tyres, it'll cut out, but just to show the motor spinning up. To close the motor mover down completely now, press off the on and off button. It'll turn the LED light off on the handset to turn it off fully. Turn off the isolation switch with the key. Just going to reconnect the mains when we go inside. Wastewater outlets for the sink, shower and hand basin. To replenish the flush water for the toilet, fill at this point and filter the filler neck with clean water. If you wish to add the pink flush trick, because you can. Cassette toilet. To remove the cassette, simply lift up the orange handle, slide all the way out and take to a suitable disposal point. When pushing the cassette back in, make sure it goes fully back in and the orange handle drops back into its recess to lock it into place. upon stepping into the caravan, above the doorway you find the 12 volt consumer unit, power on for 12 volts, and then on here you got view levels for the battery status, and then the water pump, the Truma combi boiler control panel for the heating and hot water, which I'll come back to in a second, and beneath the offside front seat box the main power supply unit. On here on the top left hand corner a system shutdown button is located. This is normally turned off when the caravan is no longer required for use or operation, and it isolates the battery from the rest of the caravan. Beneath that 12 volt blade fuses. On the top right hand corner, primary switch for the battery charger, heating and hot water, MCBs and RCD. On the RCD there's your press to test button. It does say beneath that button, test regularly. I'd advise pressing and testing every time you connect to a new mains power site. Simply by pressing the yellow test button, the trip will trip off, lift the trip to reset. On the drop down lid in front of the unit you have a list of all the 12 volt blade fuses and circuits for the MCBs. Battery charger unit, motor mover control box, onboard water pump, yellow drain down valve for the water system, and then forward most is the Truma combi boiler for the heating and hot water. To set this water system up, as you saw on the offside front corner, the water hose was connected to the water inlet, and the other end of the hose was located within the aqua roll. With that connected, one would come inside and ensure that the yellow drain down valve is in the laying flat position. Doesn't matter which way it's facing, as long as it's in that laying flat horizontal position. With power on and selecting the water pump, and then priming the taps through. First of all at the kitchen tap on the cold side. That'll take 20 or 30 seconds to get the water to run freely on the cold side. Once it's running freely on the cold, select the hot setting, and that'll take a couple of minutes. Once it's running freely at the kitchen tap, do the same for the hand basin in the shower, and when you've satisfied all the areas out of the system, you can then turn on the hot water. So to turn on the Truma combi boiler system, press and hold in the dial button, and then the display will illuminate. And then first of all you have the first icon flashing, which is a camper van with a thermometer. Press that, takes you to its sub menu. So that's for the room temperature, and you can select whatever temperature by rotating clockwise or anti-clockwise the dial. And once you've selected, say 28 degrees for instance, press to select, takes you back to the main menu. Rotate clockwise to the thermometer and wavy lines, press to select, takes you to its sub menu. And this is the water temperature. It's either off, 40, 60 or boost. 60 degrees, press to select, takes you back to the main menu. Rotate clockwise to the cylinder and lightning fork symbol, press to select, takes you to its sub menu. EL2, EL1, so EL means mains electric, the 1 denotes the higher or lower wattage, 2 being the highest. Mix 1, mix 2, so the mix refers to mains electric and gas to operate, and the number for the higher and lower wattage again, or you can use gas on its own. So EL2 for instance, press to select. With that, and then making sure that the main isolation switch for mains electric is on. If you're also using gas, you don't need to select that. But then that will allow the Truma combi boiler to cut in and out accordingly to the parameters and settings that you set for it. However important it is setting it up, it's vitally important that closing it down correctly and following through the procedure is important as well. So the water must be drained down after every time the caravan's been used. If you've been away for a couple of days or a couple of weeks, when you're packing up, closing down the caravan to go home, the water system must be drained down. There's 2 main reasons for that, which I'll come to in a second. So to close this water system down, it's very user friendly and straightforward. First of all, turn on any water heating that you may have on to off, or simply close down the whole unit by pressing and holding in the control button. It goes into its closing down sequence. Turn off the water pump, turn off the isolation switch, and then very simply lift up the yellow drain valve into the vertical position, and that will allow for the water to drain out. So the two main reasons why this must be drained off after every time the caravan's been used: one, it keeps the water system nice and fresh, stops it from going stagnant and stale in the water lines, therefore preserving the water system and reducing the need for purification processes. Two, from the months of September through to May, the water must be drained down to prevent any potential frost damage from occurring. I'm going to leave the drain valve in that vertical position. When you come to collect the caravan, that's how you'll find it. To help it, opening up the taps, alternating between hot and cold between the three taps. Fridge, main on and off button at the top. When you turn that on, it will illuminate the control panel, and then to program the fridge, press and hold in the grey button, and then you can use the cursor buttons to select the different power options. So the plug symbol for mains electric, the battery symbol. The only time this fridge will ever call on 12 volts is when the 13-pin plug on the A-frame is connected to the rear of the motor vehicle, and providing the motor vehicle is wired to do so, it will keep the fridge cool during transit when the engine is running. That's the only time it will ever operate on that 12 volt symbol. Other than that, you have the flame symbol for gas, or for mains electric. Press the grey button once selected, and then it then goes on to the temperature setting. Initially set it up to the full 5 bars. After 5 or 6 hours, once it's frozen down, reduce it to 2 or 3 bars depending on the ambient temperature, and then it's all programmed in. All nicely frozen down the back there. Been on for a few hours now. Simply turn it off when required to do so by pressing and holding in the black button. Microwave, no different to a standard domestic microwave. And stove unit. Always lift the glass lid upright, furthest most back. 4 gas burners on the hob. All the control valves clearly marked to display their uses via the diagrams. Excuse me. Along with ignition button for the gas burners. Grill pan and handle, and oven. Always ensure before closing the glass lid down that it's cool enough to do so first, and always close the glass lid down before transit. Toilet, electric flush button on the top of the cistern. By pressing that, will circulate the flush water around the pan while operating the electric flush. And then to drop the waste into the cassette, slide the wastegate lever across to open. Once the waste is dropped into cassette, slide it back again to close. Must be kept in the closed position when the toilet's not in use in operation, and also for removal of the cassette. Opening up the flick mixer on the hand basin and on the shower to help let the water drain off. There are lights and light switches throughout the caravan. You find them as you go. Some are independently switched, but you do have wall mounted switches as well. Spotlights directly switched. Mains power outlet points, 12 volt outlet points, TV aerial connection points. Folding freestanding table in the main robe. TV aerial booster box, on off button on the top left hand corner. And adjustable TV aerial. If this is used, please ensure that it's closed down correctly before transit, and please follow the important notice on how to close it down correctly before transit. 2 sets of keys and 2 alarm fobs. The movement detector for the alarm system is in the near side lower front corner beneath the drawer unit. To set the alarm, simply press the on button on the fob once. 1 chirp for on, press again. 2 chirps for off. And that concludes the handover for this caravan. Thank you for watching.